Pep here with your gaming news for the week. Loot box mania. It's still here, we're still talking about it, and I don't think it's going anywhere. This last week we saw EA plans to put loot boxes and microtransactions back in Battlefront 2 in the upcoming months. We all knew this was going to happen, but they really could have gotten a lot of goodwill from the community if they just left it alone. The question now is if they're going to bring them back in the way that they had them and hope everyone just ignores them, or try something different. I really think they're just going to try and bring back the original content and hope the whole thing has blown over. We really can't let that happen though, because the only way they listen is if we all come together and make a big fuss about it. Which I realize nobody likes doing, but it works. And since Battlefront 2 is what made everyone take notice about these gambling practices, the government isn't forgetting about it just yet. It looks like a bill was introduced in Washington state that forces the Gambling Commission to determine if loot boxes are gambling. I think this is really gaining ground among politicians. There's even a video of Hawaii State Representative Chris Lee showing how he's calling everyone to explain the situation. He's going quite in depth. The video is a little PR-y, but it seems genuine that Chris Lee cares and wants these practices to at least be obvious so parents can make decisions about what games their kids play. Something to ask now is, where does this stop? Are digital card packs, like in Hearthstone, considered gambling now? When I was a kid, I purchased Magic card packs which had like 15 random cards. I didn't consider it gambling at the time, but now it does seem like it should be lumped in. As I was saying, getting your voice heard in the community works. Ubisoft is backpedaling on their planned price increase for Rainbow Six Siege, a game I am comically terrible at. The whole price increase was pretty bad though, creating a larger barrier to get into the game, and it rewarded new players more than the old-timers. The pricing is still a little weird for the game, even if they plan to keep the standard edition at $15. You don't get many of the in-game characters with that version of the game, and grinding them out takes a long time. If you want to look at this in a positive light, then Ubisoft felt comfortable enough with the current player count to feel raising the price wouldn't affect the future of the game. So after the community spoke out against the price hike, Ubisoft walked it back. I mean, it's great. The community spoke up and it was heard. It really makes me wonder why they thought it was a good idea in the first place, and then, if they did, why did they go back on it without really explaining it? Either way, they're still going to have loot boxes for the new cosmetics, which really sucks. This next story is so interesting to me. There was a Dota 2 tournament last weekend, and ESL was broadcasting it. If you're watching this, you know that anything and everything gaming related is streamed on Twitch, especially tournaments. It would be foolish to do otherwise. Yet, ESL signed a contract with Facebook to stream the Dota 2 tournament exclusively on where else? Facebook. You might have already realized the trouble here. When people look for these tournaments, the first place they look is Twitch. ESL was confident the viewers would follow, as they said, quote, "We may lose 10 or 15% of our audience, but then we grow because we reach a new audience," end quote. The thing is, ESL can do whatever it wants. It seems crazy to me, but sure, stream on Facebook. Except Valve's guidelines allow anyone to stream from Dota TV. So a few people did just that. They streamed the tournament from Dota TV to Twitch, and reached a higher viewership than what ESL had on Facebook. ESL started issuing DMCAs, and Twitch temp banned a few people. It's an abuse of the DMCA, and I'm against Valve's rules for streaming. So the whole thing blew up in their face. I can't believe they thought they weren't going to get in trouble issuing multiple false DMCAs. At least Valve put out a statement saying that they should be the only ones to send out a DMCA, and I appreciate Valve sticking up for the Twitch streamers. Red Dead Redemption 2 was announced that the release date will be October 26th this year. I'm not planning to hold my breath since Rockstar has pushed back games before. This is sort of a delay release anyway because I think it was originally supposed to come out in spring this year. The announcement is sparse and it's not clear if there will be a PC release. I have high hopes after GTA 5, but I also hope I don't have to wait over a year after a console release to get it. If you have any interest in speedrunning, like I do, then you have to see this. Kotaku has an article with an overview about the Super Mario Sunshine 100% run. how many years it's taken to get the time under 3 hours. The runner who got the time, Average Trey, has a video about Super Mario Sunshine any percent run and how that time managed to get from around 2 hours all the way down to an hour and 15. All these tiny improvements and strategies they applied to the run. The video is about an hour long, which is a bit too long, and really explains how speedrunners work to get a time down. Really interesting stuff. Related, another speedrunning explanation video from Summoning Salt goes over Mario's 4-2 level in great detail. At 20 minutes, it's a bit more concise and goes over how speedrunners were trying to save literally frames on the level. It's a bit more nerdy, but still a great video explaining speedrunning and the techniques used to get better times. This story is more of a general warning and reminder to everyone. Please be very careful what you decide to crowdfund. In this instance, the product was a smaller version of the Switch dock that was meant to be portable. The original design used cables to hook it up both to the Switch and to the TV. Therefore, no docking, literally docking, required. There was a delay and they changed the design of the dock to be more in line with Nintendo's original, but still smaller and portable. What was delivered though, ouch, I really feel bad for these customers. It's smaller, yeah, but if I had to pay, I wouldn't want to receive that. Besides it looking like a gray piece of garbage, for some it didn't even work as intended. It's not a complete product and definitely not what was originally shown. Always be careful about crowdfunding because you never know what will happen. Also, if the product is already funded, maybe let everyone else take the risk because if it's good, they'll make more. Oh yeah, that campaign made $120,000. Damn. Game releases this week include Slime Sand Sheeple's sequel on February 5th. Looks about the same as the original and that was fun, so if you like pretty tough platforming games, then maybe this one's for you. Shadow of the Colossus remake is coming out on February 6th. While not a PC game, I just had to include it. This freaking 12-year-old game is getting a remake? Shadow changed game design in a lot of ways and is super influential. Almost makes me wish I had a PS4 to play it. Yeah, almost. Civilization 6 is coming out with a new expansion, Rise and Fall, on February 8th. New civs are being added and it's generally just a lot of enhancements. What's a civ game without the expansions, you know? Usually they're a requirement to make the game really good. Octogeddon is coming out on February 8th. It's from a new studio that has ties to the people who made Plants vs. Zombies. It looks absolutely ridiculous. You're a giant octopus that has to destroy the city. You can mutate your tentacles into all kinds of weird stuff like guns and I don't know, all kinds of weird stuff. Looks fun. Rust is leaving early access on February 8th, but that doesn't mean the game is reaching its final version. In the press release, they say this is more of what they would put on Steam if they had been working on the game in secret. Also, the price will increase from $20 to $35. They still have a lot of work to do and will switch to monthly updates to keep the game more stable. It's an interesting way to use early access, and it's worked for them so far, so I'm sure they'll be fine. On February 9th, Descenders is landing on Steam Early Access. Obviously, I have no idea what the plan for this game is, but I did play a demo, and the core bike riding is pretty good. It's a game I'm going to be keeping an eye on while it progresses. One thing I found especially good is the sound effects, which I realize sounds really silly to bring up, but if they're willing to go that deep into it with just the sound, it gives me hope for the rest of the game. So that's it. If you watch those speedrunning videos, let me know what you think. I'm a huge fan of what speedrunners do, and it's an amazing skill and talent that they have. Thanks for watching.